This is not an unboxing video.
That's a stilt. That's a black neck stilt there.
Aloha! Welcome to the channel. My name's Lee Scott. I'm a pro nature photographer based on the Hawaiian island of Kauai. If you ever find yourself on Kauai, stop by my Hanapepe gallery and we shall talk story about the Sigma 500 f5.6 sports lens. That's what this episode's all about. I rent this lens for 1 week and I give you my impressions after testing it, photographing the full moon, birds, and birds in flight on the beautiful Hawaiian island of Kauai. Let's get into it. This is an actual impression video. It's the first impression video of the Sigma 500 f5.6 telephoto lens. I've rented from Lens Rental. Lens Rentals is not sponsoring this video, but they are a good resource for all photographers. Lens Rentals sent it 2-day air. I received it literally 10 minutes ago, and we're going to open it up and see what it's like. Comes in this beautiful Pelican case from Lens Rental, so it's nice and protected. And it's foolproof too. I don't know how to open it. There we go. So this is for the L mount. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. This is insane. This is absolutely insane that it's this small. 95mm filter thread, and I actually have one. This is incredible. It's tiny. I mean, this is tiny. Wow, it feels really nice too. I mean, it's like some sort of composite material, but wow, this is insane. Wow. All right, I'm going to use this first thing tomorrow morning. Please, 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 please take nice photos. This is crazy how small this is. This is just insane. This is a 500mm lens. 500mm, and it's this small. Insane. Wow. Wow. Please take nice photos. I really, really hope it does, because this is like a toy. It's insane. I'm flabbergasted. 500mm, 500mm, and it's this big. Wow, Sigma, amazing, amazing. The comparison, I'm going to try my best not to compare image quality with the Canon RF 600 f4 and the Sigma 500 5.6. However, the size. This is the Sigma. This is the 600 f4 by Canon. This is the lens hood. This is a freaking lens hood from my 600. The lens hood is almost bigger than the lens of the Sigma. Just incredible, incredible. I just don't know if it's necessary to carry this lens around. If this lens takes nice photos, if the image quality is here, if the separation of subject and background, if the bokeh is here, if it is, my goodness, I'm going to have a very, very hard question to answer, and that's going to be, do I keep the Canon RF 600 and R5, or do I sell the 600 and R5, purchase this, and have a much smaller package? Again, it's not the same, but for the compromises that we have to make with travel and packing and then cost, $13,000, $3,000. With $10,000, I could do a safari and take this. With $10,000, I could travel to Patagonia and do puma and freaking hiking and go to Ladakh and do snow leopards. I mean, there's snow leopards probably need the 600 because they're always far away. But my goodness, this is so impressive, and the build quality outstanding. I just got to take pictures with it. That's going to be tomorrow. Wow, this is absolutely incredible for the size. If if it takes photos, if it takes nice photos. But I saw the moon, saw clear skies, so I thought, hey, we'll stop and try. I brought the 500, so we're just doing some moon shots right now while it's still high. We have maybe 45 minutes or so before it gets low. Shooting at f8, seeing how sharp it is at f8, and then we'll do some 5.6 as well. See here that the Sigma 500 is on the tripod, so I have image stabilization turned off in camera and on the lens. What's really nifty about this lens, among other things, is the tripod collar. It's integrated Arca Swiss quick release, so it goes right on to my really right stuff ball head seamlessly. And then we have the rotating tripod collar, 90-degree turns, and it's a hard stop in there, so you feel it click in. So for vertical shots, we can just go like this and it's a piece of cake. When you're using the larger telephoto lenses, especially photographing the moon, you don't want your hands on the camera at all when you take that exposure. So dial everything in, get the composition set, look in the viewfinder, whatnot, and then hands off, shutter release. If you don't have the shutter release, use a 2-second timer. We're going to turn it vertical. Look at this. It's nice. From this position, I'm hoping that this moon will remain visible as it gets above the fishermen, above the locals who are fishing. I think that might be a nice little scene. At this point, because I'm focusing on the people, I have the shutter speed at 1/1000th of a second, which is twice the focal length, because there is going to be some movement happening. Maybe they're casting, maybe they're talking to each other, looking at the phone and going for a breakfast snack or something. So we're going to have a little faster shutter speed, and the moon's going to be less consequential. Hopefully we'll have it in the frame, but it doesn't have to be super sharp and crisp. We're shooting 5.6. Again, stop that movement. ISO is at 1000 right now. Okay, so don't be fearful of a high ISO, all right? Especially this scene here, there's not much color to it, and it may even turn into a nice black and white as well.
Morning.
Morning, aloha. Beautiful, no wind at all on this side. Beautiful cloud there behind the pier. You got the moon coming in, setting over the fisherwoman. This is why we love photography. This is why we come out here and do it, man. Oh, they have something. They caught something. Oh, I got it too. Oh, nice. I got the fish out of the water and the rod bent and the moon. Yes. I like that one. All right, let's go look at some birds. I'm here at the Kauai LA Waterbird Sanctuary here on the far west side of Kauai, continuing the morning test or morning session of the Sigma 500 f5.6 on the Leica SL3s. Coming out here to look for the Aieo, the black-necked stilt. Very fun bird, and I was out here earlier this morning, and I believe there's one nesting pair and one pair that's perhaps in courtship right now. The nesting pair is very aggressive. The father or the mother, I'm not sure, but they're dive bombing me, so we're not going down to their area. We're going to give them space. What I want to show you is just how small and convenient and comfortable this lens is. Just the comfort level and ease, the lightness of this lens is it's just astonishing. It really, really is. That's just what makes this lens so incredible. I'm just walking around with a tripod for the selfie stick and the action cam. But as far as like the real camera, I don't need anything. Just walking around. That's all I need. 500mm focal length for birds. Actually, it's a little small, I think. I think the 600's better for birds, but I was getting some good shots of the Aieo earlier. hardcore birder. I'm not a hardcore bird photographer. I photograph birds for practice. A couple of nene. Hello, nene. That's the Hawaiian goose, state bird. They're a variation of Canadian geese. So if you do come out here, the nene, when they have chicks, they can be pretty aggressive too. You just kind of have to outrun them. But the IO, my goodness, that one is just going off. That's birds in flight with the Sigma 500 f5.6. I think the lens is capable for this use case, but the camera sucks for it. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest about it. I don't want to hear like the autofocus is much improved from the SL2. Okay, that may be true, but the autofocus, as far as continuous fast action tracking, finding and tracking fast action, it's not very good. A photographer can use it for birds in flight, but if your primary use case is birds in flight, you already know, don't buy this camera. If it's something that you just do for shits and grins and for fun, yeah, get it. Wildlife, however, I think it works. I was photographing surfers a couple weeks ago, and it was hitting. Here comes the IO here. Yeah, that one might be the one that's a little more aggressive. But the surfers, it was hitting 99% of the time. I had action shots of 10 in a row that were hitting. And that was with the Vario Elmerit 90 to 280 with the SL3. So I imagine this is a little better. This seems to have a little faster focusing motors than that older lens. New to me, but as far as production cycle, a little older. Okay, yeah, let's go back and look at the files from this morning's bird shoot. If I see anything on the way out, we'll stop and photograph those birds as well. But all right, let's go back to the gallery. Well, now we're going back to the car for sure, I promise. Maybe we'll stop and photograph the nene on the way. But this was Kauai Waterbird Sanctuary, Kekaha, west side of the island, with the Sigma 500 f5.6. Very versatile, very small, very compact lens. I really like it. Everything about it so far is spectacular. The size, the weight, the convenience, the form factor. And looking at the photos in the LCD, we do have some good ones from this lens, thanks to this lens. So Sigma 500 5.6 L mount for the Leica SL3.
That's a stilt. That's a black neck stilt there.
Oh, he flew right towards us. Well, the test period has come to an end for me and the Sigma 500 f5.6 DG DN sports lens. And while I can't call this a complete review because it's only from a 1-week rental experience, I would like to share my thoughts on this lens and the user experience with you. First and foremost, it has to be said that as far as the design of the lens, inside and out, form factor, convenience, absolute 5 out of 5. I mean, it's 10 out of 5. It's incredible that Sigma has made a 500mm focal length lens in this size. It's astonishing. If size matters to you, this lens will be certainly one that you must consider. The price of the lens, it's $3,000, but for a 500mm prime, I do think that is actually a very reasonable price, and I might even say a bargain. A modern lens for the SL mount, wow. That's all I have to say. There's definitely some sort of wizardry going on with Sigma, making this lens this size, this small. Kudos to them. Good job, Sigma. Build quality, again, it's just from a week, so you know, take it for what it's worth. But I'm going to say the build quality is also a 5 out of 5. It is a composite material, but it feels really nice in the hand. The Arca Swiss foot, tripod foot, is spectacular, convenient. Hard stops at 90 degrees, so shooting vertical is absolutely no problem. The buttons and dials are easy to use. What I found most useful, I didn't use the focus area on full that much. It felt a little slow to focus on that. Now, when we talk about focusing speed, especially with how I tested it primarily with birds in flight, it's going to be difficult to judge it because the Leica SL3 is so poor in autofocus continuous, wildlife tracking, focus speed, finding the subject. That just has to be said. It's woeful in that regard. Image quality is outstanding, so once you hit it, you're going to be pleased with the images, but focusing speed, especially for moving subjects, we're going to have to set that aside and just say that you're using it, if you're using it with a Leica, you know, have low expectations for that, be happy with it. Now let's go on to the image quality. A slow moving subject or static subject is fantastic, 5 out of 5. For the moving subjects that are fast moving, depends on the background. My experience with the Leica SL3, if the background is the sky, it's going to hit it every time. But overall, image quality, I'm going to give, I guess, 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5 to moving up to 5. Okay, limitations of fast moving subjects and the camera lens combination is going to knock it down a bit. Static subject, slow moving subject, we'll put it up to 5 out of 5. Sharpness, I'm going to give it 4.9 out of 5. Is it the sharpest lens I've ever used? No. Is it as sharp as my old Canon 300 f2.8? No. Is it as sharp as the 400 2.8 by Canon? No. Is it as sharp as my 21 Apo? No. Is it as sharp as my 90 to 280 Apo from Leica? No. Is it as sharp as my RF 600 lens, which is kind of that's close in direct comparison that I have for this? Yes, it absolutely is. And once you consider, again, the form factor and convenience, size, weight, packing space that this would take up, and you consider it's as sharp as that 600 lens, granted, not the same aperture, not the same focal length, but it's definitely something to consider. Separation of subject, 5 out of 5. Bokeh, 5 out of 5. This is why you would get a prime. It's $3,000, so it's going to be about similar to a Canon 100 to 500. It's going to be maybe twice as much as the Sony 200 to 600. Some of these other zooms, the Leica 100 to 400, it's going to be a little bit more than that as well. If you look at the Sigmas, it's going to be a little bit more. So it doesn't have the versatility of any of those zooms. It is a little bit more, but I believe the image quality is going to be higher with this than with those zooms. I can compare it to Canon's RF 100 to 500, which I had. It's sharper, separation of subject, and the bokeh. These aspects of je ne sais quoi, the subtle differences that you're looking for, this lens provides that. This Sigma 500 f5.6 is a landmark lens for Sigma. It's a landmark lens for Leica L-mount users. And it could even be a landmark lens for the industry as a whole. As high ISO capabilities of the cameras become better and better, as imaging software, in particular denoise software such as Topaz denoise or the denoise feature in Lightroom, as these become better and better, the need for the massive super telephoto primes in my opinion, becomes less and less. Do they have a purpose? Yes. But are they difficult to travel with? Yes. Are they difficult to use with anyone else around? Yes. Are they a conversation piece? Yes. Is that always desirable in the field? No. This, people, they're not going to say hello. I mean, it's so unassuming, but it is actually so good. I have to pack this up, and I also have to pack up my Canon RF 600 and my Canon R5. This lens, for me, as I move to Leica, this lens is so good and comparably so cheap. I know a $3,000 lens is not cheap, but in comparison to a $13,000 lens, I'm buying it. I'll try to sell a few more photos between now and the end of August when I go to Kauai National Park in Alaska to photograph bears. But I will be taking this lens with me, and I'm really excited to take this on safaris in Tanzania beginning next year, February, with the photo tour that I'm leading. And I think that this lens will be excellent. What more can I say? It was so good, so enjoyable, that I'm going to buy one myself. Let me know what you think of this lens. Let me know what you think of form factors and the size and convenience. Let me know also if you think the Super Telephoto Primes are a dinosaur in this age of photography. All right, that's all for me. Take care. Aloha. Wow.